Shit. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite dating coach, Elliot Scott, and as you can see by the title below, we're going to talk about, can a guy pull away, right? Pull away from your fine ass, including mine if you look at it down there, but still like you or value you. Now, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Just click the red button below. I will love you forever. Yours truly. And if you want to get notifications of my videos coming out right away, just click the bell below, okay? It tells you immediately when it comes out. So, jumping right into this, I think using the word value is the wrong way to go about this. If you're watching this and you're like, well, does he still value me, or could he still value me if he pulls away? It's yes and no, but I think that's a bullshit answer. So I want to give you reasons why I don't want to use the word value. So first off, yes, you can pull away from things you value. You can maybe take it for granted and pull away. Many examples of this are things like life, today, tomorrow, the time we have. We take all these things for granted: air, water, food, and so on. And then secondly, it's not just as black and white as that. It's not he pulls away, therefore he doesn't value me, or vice versa. He stays with me, so he values me, right? It's not that black and white. An example of this is a guy could pull away because you two want different things. He still values you in your opinion, but you two want different things. And most of the time when a guy does pull away, it's pressure. Not that you did anything wrong, not that you pressured him, just the obligation to have to make a decision because you two are talking, things are consistent, you've been on numerous dates, you're just not some chick he swiped on Tinder or swiped right on Tinder anymore. There's more to it. And of course, because of this build-up, he feels obligated to have to answer or go through with a relationship, and that might not be what he wants. So he might value you in the time you guys had, but still pull away. So with all that being said, what you're really asking is, does he like me and want anything serious with me? And in my opinion, if the guy pulls away, there's exceptions. That's cute little me. You like that? With exceptions, but most of the time, again, 97% of the time, it's probably not. And you're all probably thinking, oh, hell no, Elliot, why are you telling us this? Why do you believe this? So, in my opinion, if a guy likes you, he won't put himself in a position to lose you. And I talked about this before, but I want to talk about it again, okay? There's two ways to look at escalation or dating or transitioning into a relationship. And one's the natural escalation, what we're all familiar with. This is like, you and me dating, us going on, numerous dates, things being consistent, starting to like each other, attractions building. Hey, why not be my girlfriend? The one that we're all familiar with and the one that we all want. But then there's the taking the woman off the market approach, a more defensive approach, which is, I like her, she likes me, I need to make the decision to take her off because she's a high value woman. And if I don't, she's either not going to put up with it, someone else is going to come along, or it's just risk. Men hate risk. They want to lower their risk as much as possible. So he's going to try anything to do that. And if he likes you, he is going to take you off the market, because if he doesn't, then there's obviously a risk of losing you, and he doesn't want to do that. So with that being said, ladies, it begs the question now that if he's not moving forward with you, then you're obviously not progressing. He's pulling away. So there is no offensive approach. So it must be a lack of attraction, take you for granted, a lack of interest, something like that. So it's not offensive. And then when it comes to defensive, if he's not being defensive about you, he's not either taking you off the market or tying you down in some way, then that means he doesn't value you enough to commit, if that's what it is. It might not be that. He thinks he has you and that you're not going anywhere, that he's calling your bluff. So, he thinks, okay, she's just playing these games, but I know she likes me. Watch this. Maybe he has no competition. Maybe you told him you're only talking to him. So when a guy says, I'll be exclusive, and I don't want a title, but we're not going to talk to anybody else, I promise. He's bullshitting you. He's saying that because he knows he has no competition now, and he can just do what he pleases, and that you're tied around his finger. Or, of course, lastly, he doesn't really care about you he doesn't really care about having the assets. He already had the assets, maybe. Maybe you already gave it up. Again, they all tie together. They all layer in some way. If you're giving him the assets and you're giving it to him in abundance, he can take you for granted, right? So it has to, ladies, it has to be one of these things. If it's not the offensive approach, then it's a lack of a defensive approach. And it's one of these things I just listed here, okay? So this is why I tell women to always do the following. You will never be in this situation if you do the following. Easier said than done, but it is true. After 6 to 8 dates, give them an ultimatum. No, it's not early. I don't know why women think it's early. It's not. If you're talking to a guy and you've seen him more than 6 times and you're not committed, you're being played. That's just what it is. That's just, unless you both agree to friends with benefits or whatever. But that's what it is. Secondly, do your detective work. I talk about this a lot in my course, Attraction Academy. I have a whole video on it and things like that. You have to know a lot about him, his dating history, what he wants. Does he have options? Is he newly single? Did he get cheated on? Is there a 20-year-old in the picture when he's a 40-year-old? All these things matter, okay? Because if you think you're someone if he hasn't dated a girl in 10 years, and you think you're going to come in here and be the girl that changed that, you're out of your fucking mind. That's not going to happen. Not saying it can't happen, it's just not going to in terms of probability, okay? And then, of course, you have to have a freedom of outcome. The reason women lose, when I talk to them on the phone is because, again, easier said than done, but you desire a man so much that you fear losing him. And because of that, you lower your standards to keep him around under his conditions, and then you wonder why you're in the situation you're in and why he's not changing. You're not giving him a catalyst to change. He doesn't need to. Why not? He'd be an idiot to change. He'd be an idiot to change if you're taking him at this low cost, okay? He'd be an idiot. So please, for the love of God, ladies, do not do the following. I see women do this all the time. Do not justify his actions. If you feel he's bullshitting you, he probably is. That's just how it is, okay? Listen to your gut. Your gut's a lot stronger than you all think it is. If you think you can change him, you can't. No offense, you're nothing special. I know I'm sounding harsh, and I love you all truly. You are special. But what I'm trying to say to this is, like, women always talk to me and they're like, oh, him and I had this chemistry. I know he's super attracted to me, and he said he never felt this way for someone before. Then why in the fuck are you watching my videos? Why are you paying me $90 to talk? Like, that's my session rates, by the way, babies. There has to be a roadblock. Something has to be there. And what ends up happening, again, going back to what I'm saying here, the freedom of outcome, that ties in with this number 2 here. A lot of women think they can change a guy, so they wait around and try to do that. But what they don't understand is the caveat or the double-edged sword of this is that by you sitting there and trying to invest and change him, right, he doesn't need to change. It's the irony of it, because you're investing time in the guy. There's no reason to change. You're not going anywhere in his eyes, okay? Number 3, wait around in hopes he falls for you. Do not do that. Again, goes back to what I said just recently. And then, of course, 4, you desire him so much that you fear losing him to the point that you lower your standards. I know I just said this, but I really have to emphasize it because even though you're not getting what you want. If you think a man who is already, again, if you're watching this video and you're questioning, does he value me? Or he's pulling away, why? And then you're going to stay around and lower your standards to keep him around, there is no way in God's beautiful green earth it's just not going to happen, okay? So, yes, there's more, because a lot of you don't listen, and these are things I constantly hear from my clients. So I just want to emphasize all these things that a lot of you fall for. So let's say he does come back around. Don't think he's changed and realized how much he likes you, right? Or how amazing you are. I always say, if you hear hooves, think horses, not zebras. Don't go to the far extent of things. Go to what is most advantageous for him. A guy is not going to pull away and then come back all of a sudden and be like, oh my God, I realized how amazing she was. No. It's probably for the assets. Okay, attraction just doesn't. It's like energy, right? It's create or destroy. Like it's just not going to come out of nowhere. Okay, and when he does come around, don't let him back in so easily. A lot of women, for some reason, let a man back in. I don't know why, and cut and get his place right back in line. That is not how it has. No, he has to start from square one. And if he's asking why you're cold, tell him. I'm never saying you have to be a bitch, but just say, hey, you know what? You pulled away for a couple weeks. I understand you were probably busy, but I'm not cool with that. I'm more of a fan of communication, consistency, and to just let him know that if he's serious about talking to you, that he needs to be more consistent. And if he does, again, whenever I should have put this in here. Whenever a guy engages or re-engages, it's a negotiation. So I use this analogy 1,000 times. If me and someone are hooking up, and she says, Elliot, I really like you. I want a relationship. And I say, I think you're great. It's just not what I'm looking for right now. I'm sorry. And she's like, oh, okay. And then later that week, she comes over and we hook up again. I can only assume by her actions of coming back and hooking up with me, continuing what we're doing, after I say I don't want a relationship and after she offered and I declined, right? I can only assume that she is okay with everything and that we're on the same page as being friends with benefits. Otherwise, why would you come back around? Okay, so remember that, ladies. Every re-engage is a renegotiation. Okay, also, hope. It's the anchor that keeps you all at shore. He's going to take advantage of that. Going back to what I said all the way over here, the freedom of outcome. If you're going to lower your standards to keep a guy around, he's going to take advantage of that, and there is no reason for him to change. That's what women need to understand here. And of course, finally, he's always going to show effort in the beginning, whether it's the first time or he's returning. It will die off again, though. There's no reason for this not to change unless attraction is created and he's just like, holy shit, you know what? I've been hanging out with you a lot lately, and I really like you. I want a relationship. And then you guys just transition into one, okay? But if you think he's just going to come back and you're like, wow, he's showing a lot of effort again. He's really serious. Take it with a grain of salt, ladies, okay? So, why am I so pessimistic about all this? Okay, why do I think the guys can't change? That's not true. I do think men can change. I just think that a lot of everyone thinks their situations are unique and they're the exception to the rule. And then I talk to thousands of women a year in terms of sessions and realize that's not the case. The odds, if a guy's pulling away and showing disinterest and he comes back around, I'm not saying a relationship can't happen. It's just at such a disadvantage that I'm going to assume it's not. Okay? If a guy pulls away for a month and then comes back around, if you think he's going to come back around and say, you know what, I realized I loved you, unless there's a actual reason he pulled away, such as, you know what, this is getting a little serious. I'm not sure what I want, but I don't want to lead you on. Let me pull away and think about it. You can go do your own thing. If you want to talk to other men, I totally respect that. You have the right to. Obviously, you're not, yada, yada, we're not together. And then he pulls away and he's genuinely thinking about it. And then he comes back around and says, yes, let me try this. And then you guys actually transition into something. Great. Awesome. Other than that, though, that is not what's going to happen because of what I'm saying here. Attraction isn't created out of nowhere. He's not going to wake up one day and realize that you're such an amazing person and return. It's probably for assets, okay? If he does come around, don't assume it's to date you. It's coming from a mindset of pulling away, which is negative. Assume he wants, again, the assets. It's different if, I hope you understand what I'm saying there. It's different if he comes from a place of neutrality, of being neutral, of starting at zero, and moving towards a relationship. But if he's pulling away because maybe it was too intense or he doesn't like you or something happened, it's starting from a place of -0, right? Or -1, -0. -1, -2, -3, stuff like that. It's hard to gauge that back. It's just an uphill battle is what I'm trying to say. It's hard to get it back to 0 and then build. And then, of course, attraction isn't created out of nowhere. He's not going to... Wait, I put that twice? Damn it. Okay, well, ignore that one. Shit. So, what are the chances of him coming back based on the circumstances? So, this is what things are usually going to fall into one of these four categories. No assets, only liabilities. Okay? That means he doesn't care about the assets you have, or he had so many of them that it's just, or maybe they're abundant, he just doesn't care, and he only sees it as a bad thing to return. So that's like 5%. Then these aren't actual numbers. This is just what, a rough estimate. Then, of course, you have assets and liabilities. This is where the man's going to question shit. Like, oh, man, I really like her, but I don't know. Okay? So that's about 50%. It's 50-50. It's if it's worth it. Then, of course, you have high assets, low liabilities. You are a sexy bitch that, I don't know why I put this. You are a sexy bitch that has a lot to offer, but it comes at a low cost. Or it comes at a cost, right? But you do have a lot to offer. That's higher, maybe 60-70%. Then, of course, high assets, low liabilities, and rarity, meaning what you're offering him, he cannot get from a lot of women. Okay, so that's probably 90%. Like, he's going to come back. That doesn't mean he's going to commit. He's going to come back. So let me give you an example of each. No assets, only liabilities. This is usually a bunch of things layering, such as you want a relationship. These are all liabilities. You wanted the relationship. Maybe you went crazy. Maybe you blew up his phone. Maybe spilling your guts. You're pestering him. You guys are already hooking up, so already got the ass. Like all these assets, or all these liabilities. That even something as good as an asset, such as an easy lay, and I don't mean that in terms of like her being sleazy. I just mean like I can have sex with this girl if I want. He still says, hell no, because it's not worth the liabilities. It's not worth all that crazy bullshit again. It's not worth coming back and complying with this, like, okay, I'm going to hook up with you. Then you have the idea now, oh my God, he likes me. He came back. He's having sex with me. He's still in my life. Otherwise, why would he do it? No, that's not, no. He's not going to deal with that shit. Okay. Then there's assets and liabilities. This is where a guy has to make the decision. I kind of explained this already. That if the assets are worth the liabilities, okay, he knows they come at a cost. He's just going to start to just do some calculations in his head on if it's worth it. So an example of this would be, I want to have sex with you, or I like hanging out with you, or I think you're awesome, like you're fun. I do like you. I just don't want a relationship, and I know you do. Okay. Then, of course, high assets and low liabilities. This is more like, or more likely for him to come around. You have a lot to offer, but there's low liabilities. So he's going to be more likely to do it if he can convince you to get back to the stage that you were. So if you're one of these women who are like, hey, I like you, but I just want a relationship. And he's like, oh, I know, but it's just not what I'm looking for. I'm sorry. And then he can convince you to get back into friends and benefits where he can have his cake and eat it too, right? And you go along with that. That's usually this situation. Then, of course, high assets and rarity. This guy is most likely always going to return. He's just going to. You have a lot to offer. He might pull away for a little bit and realize what's out there isn't as good as you have it, or as he has it with you, but he still doesn't want a relationship. He is going to come back around though, okay? So what I'm basically saying with all this is you have no chance of really getting a guy back unless you're in the rarity or full of assets category. And the reason for this is a guy isn't just going to come back and it's all renegotiation. He is going to think of it as a fight. He's not just going to give in. He is going to come back and try to have his cake and eat it too. Try to get it to an advantage for him, okay? He's going to try to get it to an advantage for him. He is going to try to be friends with benefits, have fun, hang out, hook up, get that relationship vibe, okay, but not actually be in a relationship. I mean, obviously, as a guy who's already pulled away, who's already being a little distant, he's not just going to skip that step and go into a relationship. I mean, you know that, okay? So that's why I say it's very rare for it to actually work. So the guy comes back around, you got to tell him what you want, and then just go from there. With that being said, ladies, okay, being a high-value woman, a high-asset woman that's, is rare. And so not rare. When I say rare, what you offer him is rare. He is especially going to come around to that, okay? He's just going to. He'd be an idiot not to. Does it mean he's going to transition to a relationship? No, but it is your best way. And with women in this situation need to go back to what I'm saying here, basically. Let me go all the way back, which is have the freedom of outcome and have the standards. I'm not saying wait another 6 to 8 dates, but it's a renegotiation. When he comes back, you need to say, hey, you know what I'm looking for. If you're back here because you want the same thing, awesome. If not, then I got to cut you loose, dude. And don't give them any time of the day. Don't do this little cute texting back and forth. No, it's done. It's done. Okay? So with that being said, ladies, if you haven't yet, again, please subscribe. I will love you forever. If you want a deeper understanding of all this, just get my course, Attraction Academy. It will tell you everything in there. It helps you transition from what you are now to a relationship, or at least understanding it. I am redoing the course, so if you actually want to wait until I redo the course, it's going to be 10 times better. I mean, you'll get it either way, but still. So with that being said, ladies, I love you. Take care, and peace.